your man Qualified, aka the Dirty Daddy, aka Dr. Footlover, aka Mr. Black Future, aka the Black American Dream, aka Black ECW, and we have
Yo, Sadie C,
uh-huh,
aka
who else?
the Maka Kilo, Chicken Katsu Killer. Although you might not know that from my shirt.
Yeah.
AKA.
But I saw you eat some chicken katsu
I
earlier.
did, and I killed it.
Yes, you did.
AKA.
Uh-huh.
Cop Blaze, King Koopa.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep that one.
Yeah.
AKA.
avoiding those pesky initials.
AKA. You know what? I'm not even gonna say that one. We gonna say that. AKA Mr. Wiggles in the flesh. I was gonna say, so we could just jump into the first little thing we gonna talk about.
Yeah.
AKA Dave Chappelle's Entourage.
Uh.
But I didn't want to ruin the first topic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, and there's Def.
Oh yeah, Def's here.
Word to your mama.
Oh man, and he switched sides.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
It's different. You're in the middle. You gotta keep your head on the swivel.
What camera do I look at?
Turn it up just a
I
little.
mean, that's still the main one.
Because I was rhyming.
Everything is
Don't get
different. I don't know.
distracted. Yo, and that's the other thing is the last episode y'all were looking at that camera.
We were
so-
because it was like facing.
Yeah, I mean, you look wherever the hell you want.
I think we started looking that way because IA was looking that way, and then we were just like, let's all look at it.
that makes sense.
What are you doing?
He said I could look where I want.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle, bro.
Dave Chappelle.
He got some real people in his corner.
Yo, Dave Chappelle got some real niggas riding for him.
Yeah. And some names that we might not have even thought.
Yeah. So, all right. So, what had happened was, if you guys don't know, which you probably do by now, by the time you're watching this episode, Dave Chappelle was doing stand up in a city.
One of
City
those.
here.
Right? And while he was in the middle of his jokes, a motherfucker ran up and decided to try to attack him. They saw later on different footage that apparently this person had a firearm.
And a knife.
And a knife. Wow.
Damn.
I don't think it was a real gun. I think it was like a
Oh.
fake gun. But the knife was real.
Okay.
But did he have nunchucks?
No.
Well, anyway, this motherfucker ran up here, tackled Dave Chappelle. Seems like Dave Chappelle went down with the tackle, but didn't seem affected. Kind of
Because he's from DC.
You know what I mean? And he kind of buff now.
Yeah.
So
Not like Africa buff. Remember when he went to Africa?
yeah,
Then he was fighting lions. And
yeah,
shit.
doing all kind of shit.
Yeah.
Heard about that.
Yeah, but it seemed like he kind of had subdued dude a little bit, or person a little bit. They, whichever, I don't know how they identify.
They identified as fucked up.
It's facts. And then right after that, one of the first people out on stage was Jamie Foxx, apparently, and got the dude off Dave Chappelle. And then came the goons.
The goons.
And they chased this motherfucker to the back and stomped the fuck out of this nigga.
Heard Busta Rhymes was there.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes was apparently there.
Was
Stomp
Joe
it.
Rogan there? Because this dude's arm was broken.
Yeah, the arm
Like,
was
falling
broke as
off.
fuck. Yeah.
Oh, Joe
And they
Rogan might have been there.
handcuffed the broken arm.
Yes.
Why I don't understand why they couldn't handcuff the non-broken arm, but they was like, nah, nigga, you really ain't gonna go nowhere.
I saw this one picture of a dude with one arm getting arrested, and they handcuffed his one hand. The other cuff was just like dangling. Hey, protocol, bro.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, that's crazy. I don't know why they thought they could run up there and not get fucked up.
I mean, it's Dave Chappelle, so you know it's funny, but like, how bad do your jokes have to be for a nigga to just run up on you to try to whoop your ass?
Well, I think it has something
Whatever
to
happened to just booing a nigga?
I think it has something to do with the Netflix special and the group of people that he was that was upset. You feel me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, so is this politically charged?
no, maybe.
I mean, I guess
then
it kind of counts as that.
Identitatively
That's why I said I'm not sure how the person who attacked. That's why I said I'm not sure how the person who attacked him identifies.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the thing. I mean, I heard of that, but I didn't know like they were that like people were that mad about.
Oh yeah, no. So it's like a big. It's kind of like a big beef.
I heard he's a rapper.
This person's a rapper.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be a clout thing too. Yeah. But I don't know.
My first thought was, I wonder if this is just like...
Or it could be a they that's a rapper.
Yeah, well, I was thinking...
Is that the bad way to say it? I apologize if it is. I'm sorry.
I didn't think about all that, but I was wondering, like, is this just going to be a normal thing for, like, comedians now? Like, Will Smith just
not after this motherfucker.
Chris Rock was there too.
Oh yeah, so Chris Rock, after everything, after this motherfucker got fucked up, popped up and grabbed the mic and said, "Hey yo, was that Will Smith?"
This nigga hasn't talked in weeks since the shit happened. He come through with a joke.
Oh my god! But that's what I mean. Like, maybe like now people are getting more like it's being normalized to like attack.
I mean, it's a way to go viral.
And he's viral as fuck.
I guess so. Get some attention.
Yeah, so people do that, and that, especially now that you mentioned that this motherfucker is a rapper, like my mind goes right to, oh, okay, now I can go viral for this, and especially if you tie in that other shit, like, oh, I'm standing up for this cause, like now y'all gonna fuck with my music.
Yeah.
Drop a single with the cover of him sit there with the arm, bro. Yo, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to that one. I'll be like, oh shit, yo, what this nigga talking about? Got your arm fucked up.
He get his first single, Broken Arm.
Oh man, through the cast, through the cast, do it over the Through the Wire beat. I'm locked in. I'm listening. I'm locked in.
You giving him ideas. Yeah, you giving him too much.
Oh man. Hey, if you hear that, hey, yo, if that shit go off, man, you owe me 10%.
Damn.
Off top. Pre-taxes.
Oh.
Know what I mean?
I need to do all my deals.
Go get your other arm.
Yeah, so the perfect transition into today's topic.
We some head busters. We some head busters.
Yeah.
That's an Atlanta song.
It is an Atlanta song.
Which is what we're going to be talking about.
Songs?
From Atlanta. And just Atlanta. And hip-hop in general. So that's something that we wanted to start doing on the podcast. We wanted to start talking about just different regions. We're not going to pretend to be hip-hop historians or anything, but we Googled
the fuck out of this.
You know, there was research done mixed in with just our own experiences, especially me and Eddie at the time, because I don't think you listened to some of this stuff while it was happening. But like when we were like in high school, like that was kind of in the middle of the takeover of
that's on page 2 of my notes.
You know what I'm saying? The takeover of Atlanta and the South. So just like living through that during that time and being where we are out here in Hawaii, and being just fans of hip hop. So just catching and trying to keep up with everything from all the different regions, and now all of a sudden there was just like so many rappers from Atlanta that we were hearing on the radio or on mixtapes.
I wanna say they owned 2003 through like 15.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, like, you know,
I mean, 5. Yeah, 3 to 5.
Like, you know, I used to watch a lot of Rap City, The Basement, BET. So like I'm watching the videos, and all of a sudden just like there's just all these Atlanta cats all over the videos. I'm just like, oh shit, like what the fuck going on in Atlanta? And like, you know, because I remember
at a Big Ticker.
Yeah,
Big Ticket,
right? Like, so I remember at a time where, like, to a lesser degree, like a few years before, there was like a lot of St. Louis cats who started breaking through after Nelly. Like, there was Chingy and just like Jibs, and there was all these different,
the whole St. Lunatics.
Yeah, like you know, all the St. Lunatics. There was different cats who were popping up. So that's when I started like being interested in just like seeing how the different regions were going. Because at this point, like I was considering myself an MC. And starting out rapping and taking that seriously. So,
speaking of that, when did you drop the MC from your name? When did it go from qualified MC
yeah.
to just to qualified?
Just to qualify.
And then and then quali. But
I guess, yeah. It kind of like when I was with Ill Hill. I was just being like, all right, qualified, because like qualified MC. And then I just felt like that was just like a mouthful. Like we was already Ill Hill Society, which everybody was shortening the Ill Hill anyway. Then there was 3 of us with names you got to remember: Cozy, Roxa, Young Roxa, Qualified MC. Like I just felt like that would just be a lot to be saying all the time. So I mean, like, y'all just call me Qualified.
What was Roxa's other nickname?
Chuck Cranston.
Chuck Cranston.
Yeah, because when like we first started doing shit and like officially like the 3 of us were like we're Ill Hill. He was in Footloose because he was still in high school, so he was in St. Louis schools, and I don't know, whatever the all-girl school was, St. Francis Sacred Hearts, yeah. So they were doing like a mixed production of Footloose, and he was Chuck Cranston in Footloose.
For like a school play or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh.
I remember we like all
went
went
a live motion picture.
I remember like a whole gang of us, like we all went to like go see him, and that he killed that shit. Like it was lit. I was like, yeah, like Chuck Cranston. Like I was yelling this. Yeah, it was lit. We was hype. And so yeah, then I was just like, oh, that's a nickname for you, Chuck Cranston. Like I was like, yo, that's kind of fire. Like,
so he just took a whole nother nigga's name.
I mean,
that's like him trying to tell me your nickname should be Eddie Bravo. That's a whole nother nigga already.
I said that.
I did not see that.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah. You see how he got that name? It was from Quali.
Yeah.
So I was.
Yeah,
he offered the name Eddie
Bravo. Yeah, you just stealing people's identity and giving it to other people.
I said whatever the Eddie Bravo. It was like podcast Eddie Bravo.
Yeah,
but extra bravado.
Yeah, nigga, that was fire. It had a rhyme.
Talking about mouthfuls.
What did I say? Those are words I don't want coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, but that was like, that's fine. Like an AKA be like, yo, it's your man, Eddie C. The podcast Eddie Bravo with extra bravado.
Is that how I sound? That's how I talk.
His imagination of how this podcast goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Atlanta.
So Atlanta.
Hey, fuck you. Yo, you saw the video of here we go. You saw the video of the dude getting chased by like the mountain lion?
What?
You never saw that? He went hiking.
Oh,
and there was like a mountain lion,
and he's like trying to get the cat to like like trying to chill out.
Yeah. And like as he's backing up recording, the cat like does like one of these things to him. Yeah.
I've never.
And he was like, "Fuck you, fuck you." Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying too.
Yeah, man.
I've been swearing the whole video.
Yeah.
It just
and he picked up a rock and tried to throw it at him.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It just been swearing and calling it nigga. Nah, nigga, chill. Hey, nigga, hey. What the fuck? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So in the 1980s,
Okay.
Clive Davis
Okay.
and Babyface and L.A. Reid.
All right, you talking about LaFace Records?
LaFace Records.
All right,
They made that.
Okay.
And that was they teamed up to find talent in the South. So they went to Georgia. They made their headquarters in Atlanta. And at the time, there was a whole bunch. There was like a real big pop in local scene with a bunch of artists that was just like locally famous.
Yeah.
And so at 1989, LaFace Records, they signed TLC and Crisscross. And MTV helped make them big by playing their music videos and shit for Ain't Too Proud to Beg and Jump from Crisscross.
Crisscross will make you...
Yeah.
Jump. Mm-hmm. Oh, my bad.
And Ain't Too Proud to Beg from TLC.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? L.A. Reid founded Rowdy Records in '92, and signed Monica. Remember the R&B chick Monica?
Yeah.
Who was like fucking big in the
AKA
90s.
Gunica, if you know, you know.
I don't know.
AKA Gunica, because she is really into having guns, and she got a lot of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, nah, she really about that shit. And she kind of like hard. Yeah, she was fucking with C Murder back in the day and shit.
Okay.
Yeah. She really a goon.
All right.
Gunica.
I bet. So yeah, that's kind of like the beginning of Atlanta hip hop. Unless you got something to add about the roots of it.
So, okay, well, yeah, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about that happened a little bit before LaFace Records. But go ahead, Jason.
LaFace was probably like what, like
I think
was
that's
the
what
stamp
started
on Atlanta. Like, yo, listen up, we got some shit.
Yeah, that's like
That was-
breaking into the national scene.
And so they made waves with TLC and Crisscross. Later went on to sign some other artists. So like Usher. Tony Braxton,
Yep.
Outkast, Goody Mob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how they attracted other talent and became successful and started putting Atlanta on the map. But there's been like a handful of notable people prior to the record label. So through the early 80s, and I don't know if you want to start us off.
Well, no, because you had mentioned
So the first guy,
the first rapper.
The first rapper in Atlanta to break into radio was a guy called Mojo, and he was actually signed. Velvet Tone was the label, and that was in 1982.
Which is crazy because that's about the time of like New York was really coming through with some dope shit at the time.
And there's a tie-in there too. So he came out with a single called Batman, Let Mojo Handle It. And it was a single that got blasted on the radios locally. And it was tied to the shelter in place order at that time, because there was like murders of like young kids and stuff. So the song was about that shit going on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild, like this cultural fucking like thing that was happening, like relevancy to that time period, and it just was what everyone was bumping, like the first rap song to get big out there.
Yeah.
But a little bit later from that, there is ties to New York through you was talking about.
Yeah. So there's another cat who came up with like one of the first like hit songs in Atlanta, but like you were saying,
Was it Jermaine Dupri?
Not yet, no. So there was like you were saying, there was a New York tie-in. So this guy was actually like a b-boy from I think it was the Bronx. Yeah. So he's a b-boy from the Bronx.
Oh, it's my uncle.
Yeah.
It's my deal.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, you related to Africa Bambaataa too?
That's racist. No.
No, it's not. Explain it.
So this b-boy from Brooklyn, his name he went by MC Shy D. So
Wait, was he from Brooklyn or the Bronx?
Bronx.
Sorry, Bronx. Like if you remember in Welcome to Atlanta, Jermaine Dupri, he shouts out, he's like, and the man Shy D, like this is who he's talking about. So he had the song boom, shake, shake it, boom, boom, shake, shake it. That joint. Hold up. I'm about to play something. Alright, pause. But like this
next time I'll just pretend like I know it.
And
hold up.
They say he's cousin of Africa Bambaataa, which is why I asked, because you said that was your tio.
Oh.
So
He
not
never told me
racist.
that.
Hold up, I'm about to play some of the song for you. I know you've heard this joint.
Boom. Shake it. Took your mama not much to make it.
Nah. Yeah, you heard this joint, right? Like at sports games and shit.
No, but I like it.
All right, so like in that time, they were heavily influenced by like kind of like the heavily influenced by like the Miami bass scene. So like Two Live Crew, that kind of style. So Shy D had linked up with a few other DJs, and they came up with that joint. And that kind of got popping, and that but you know, him rapping, he had like a New York style. The way he wore his hat was New York and stuff like that. So Atlanta people was kind of like, all right, cool, but like they wasn't claiming it as their own because like everybody knew this nigga was from New York. So there was another cat, younger dude, and he came along. His name was Kilo Ali. And so he had a song about cocaine. Ooh. Because during that time, like it was, you know, like the crack epidemic and stuff like that. This dude was from the hood. He had done some juvenile time. So while he was locked up, he wrote this song and he came out and he was rapping. And they was like, Atlanta niggas was really bumping it because like this nigga was really from Atlanta. And like people liked it because, you know, it was about cocaine. But he was actually saying cocaine will fuck you up. There was another cat who wasn't a rapper, but his name was King Edward J. And so he had a tape store. And I feel like this guy is really interesting to me because I feel like when we start to go into these regions, you're going to find people like this who may not have necessarily made music themselves or been like a rapper or whatever, but like they saw the talent around them and they did something and went out of their way to be like, all right, let's try to spread this around the city. And like that's what really grew a lot of these cities and did stuff that, like, you know, we might not have some of the music that we have if some of these people didn't do the things that they did. So King Edward J, he had a tape store, and he would sell tapes and records and stuff because, like, in Atlanta at that time, there was one radio station that played rap music, but they would only play it like for an hour on Friday nights, and they would play like the stuff from the West Coast and from the East Coast, but no Atlanta cats. Kind of reminds me of here.
Yeah. So, they play the local artists for like an hour. Right.
So he was like, all right, let's do something there. You know, there's kids who are making music. Let's do something. So he set up his tape store, and then he started bringing in DJs and making beats. They started making music. That's where they made the Shake It song, MC Shy D. DJ Collie Park was there before he was Collie Park.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so like everybody who was doing shit in the city at that time would start coming through and fucking with King Edward J, and they called it the J Team. So basically he kind of started like a record label, and they started putting out music, and then he started making mixtapes. So he would make tapes, and they would have music that, you know, with the beats that the producers, well, they called them DJs at first, but they became producers.
Yeah.
And the beats that they made, and he would have people come through, whoever could do shit in the city, and they would come through and they would rap and they would get on these tapes, and everybody wanted to be on the tape, because if you was on one of these mixtapes, like, and these are cassette tapes, he's selling cassette tapes, they were saying like for like $13.95, $14, $15, and people are coming to the store and they lining up to buy the tapes, and that's how you find out about whoever's popping in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so he started doing this, and that's how like people started getting their names up. Like, you know, Shy D, they got that song out and ended up getting like signed and stuff like that. So people are starting to get like noticed, and that's how Atlanta starts building a scene, and people start listening to Atlanta artists. And I feel like
only in Atlanta at the time.
Yeah. But like I feel like that was a big thing, and him doing that and getting that going kind of paved the way for LaFace to be like, all right, what the fuck is going on in Atlanta? Like, there's look at all this talent. Oh, people are checking out mixtapes. All right, man, let's go down there and see what we can do.
So there's a topic I'm super excited to talk about, but I don't know if we're there yet in the timeline.
Okay, so now we've caught up with where
LaFace.
with where you were with LaFace. Gotta bring up Jermaine Dupri because like how we were talking about Crisscross. So there's an interesting story that I was listening to. I've heard Jermaine Dupri tell this story a few times. I heard it him talking about it on Drink Champs. And also on the Netflix Hip Hop Evolution, there's a episode that they did about Atlanta, which I did go back and watch again in part of my research for this episode. But Jermaine Dupri was talking about Crisscross. So he was kicking it at the mall, and then here come these two niggas walking through the mall, young niggas, and like the girls, everybody is just like wilding out, acting like they're stars, giving them free shit. And like he's like goes up to him and he's like, yo, what do y'all do? And they was like, what you mean, what do we do? We just cool. And he was like, yo, what? Yo, we gonna rap. And they was like, what the fuck? Like rapping wasn't like cool. So they was like, man, we already cool. Like we ain't rap. And he's like, nah, peep this. So he wrote like songs and came up with all this shit,
The gimmick.
and and put them in the studio and had them do it, because like the rap songs that they would listen to rap and they could rap along with the songs. And he was like, yo, y'all, if y'all could do that, then y'all can rap.
Damn.
And then he did that and it just blew up. See, so like so they blew up, and then at the same time TLC had a hit. So that's
So he just found them, and they was just
They're just dudes.
they were just
They were
dudes,
just
and they
dudes.
just
Yeah.
they were just
and he was
dudes who were
like, y'all
swag.
can do this.
Yeah, they were just dudes with swag,
Damn.
young dudes with swag.
Yeah. That's wild.
I mean, Jermaine Dupri, I don't know. He kind of has at least in my eyes, he kind of has like a corny reputation. At least to me, I think he's
Nah,
kind of
man,
corny.
that dude is a fucking genius, bro.
But he's a genius when it came to fucking finding talent.
Yeah, nah, and just like the vision that he had and the way that he could put stuff together. So I feel like he's very instrumental, a big piece in Atlanta hip hop and Atlanta music being able to move forward. Because not only what he did with LaFace, but later on, So Def, you know what I mean, just putting people on, even though Bow Wow ain't actually from Atlanta. You know what I mean? Just you got to throw him into the mix somehow.
What, isn't he from Ohio?
Yes. But when the Super Bowl, when the Falcons were in the Super Bowl and lost, like he was down there at the Super Bowl acting like he was from Atlanta. So I mean, I guess being with JD for all that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, also with so LaFace Records kind of started like the mainstream push of Atlanta into the like national spot, like the national spotlight, as far as like their hip hop music and their R&B music, because they were doing that as well. Babyface, of course, being there.
So, and then sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but there's a couple things I want to mention about this era now.
Yeah.
Because they're not the main thing, but it's interesting that this was happening simultaneously, right? So, in '88, so when the year before LaFace Records started, was a group that formed called Arrested Development. So kind of like an alternative version, is kind of folksy, of like the regular hip hop or the mainstream stuff that was coming out. And it was kind of an alternative to like more of the street sound style of music that is associated with hip hop. And their big claim to fame was when Spike Lee actually commissioned them to do a song. The song was Revolution. for the movie Malcolm X.
Yeah.
So just interesting, like different sides of the same place, you know what I mean, that was coming out, which is going to be a theme of Atlanta as we progress forward. So I wanted to mention that. Also, in conjunction with like TLC, there's a production collective that formed during that time called Organized Noise.
Okay, so this kind of is going with where I was about to go. So like how you were saying, there was Arrested Development. They came up like with cats like Criss Cross and like some of the other, and TLC and the other acts that were kind of starting to blow up. There was also like a side of Atlanta where it was like, yo, we need to tell like our story, like where's the real lyricists, where's like basically it was like their version of where's the real hip hop niggas at, like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's where Organized Noise kind of comes into play with the type of production that they were doing, right? So there's an interview that's on that Netflix special, and they were talking to the producers of Organized Noise, and that was one thing they were saying. They was like, all right, man, like, we got all this other shit here on the face, like, where's some niggas that can really spit? Where's some niggas that can really rap, right? So they started, like, looking for cats, then they was kind of, like, holding auditions, right? And so there was two young dudes who came in, and he said they was wearing like flannels and like cutoffs, right? And so they came in and they started rapping, and like they was going back and forth. Sleepy Brown said, he was like, man, these motherfuckers rap for like 30 minutes apiece, right? Going back and forth, two cats. Turns out that those two cats were Andre 3000 and Big Boy. That was Outkast, and them motherfuckers had something to say.
Fuck yeah.
So they showed up and they was like, all right, yeah, like we can work with y'all motherfuckers. And that kind of led into Dungeon Family and like that side of like they was trying to produce real hip hop but also be true to the South, because like roots, them motherfuckers was, you know, out there Atlanta or other parts of Georgia, like country, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's part of it too. So they wanted to, that's why like you know, some of them songs, like one of my favorite joints from them, Decatur Psalm, like just the feel of some of those songs, it like there's almost like gospel vibes and like different shit with it, and like that's really dope. Like, you know, being able to hear from that, I recommend anybody who's like really ahead and interested in like hearing about where music comes from and shit like that to check out that Hip Hop Evolution series. But yeah, it was really interesting hearing them talk about like finding Outkast and then just locking in the dungeon and everybody who wanted to be a part of it. And even though like cause like, you know, CeeLo comes in, and then, you know, all the Goody Mob, and they weren't even Goody Mob yet, so they're just there, everybody's just there kicking it, there's hella weed, and everybody's just making music in the dungeon, everybody's just coming through. And like at this time the only real act is Outkast, and they're like, we're just building this sound and stuff, and y'all, let's just make this dope music, and if, you know, these dudes blow up, then it's gonna work for all of us somehow. And it did.
So can I do the story? I'm super happy. All right, my turn. 1994, Outkast drops Southern Playalistic. Was it Cadillac Music?
Okay, wait.
God damn it!
Real quick. Funny story, right? So on that album is the song Players Ball.
Yeah.
All right, so Players Ball, the thing was, when they were there in the dungeon, they're working on shit, LaFace Records was like, yo, we need a Christmas song from everybody. And so like they told that to Organized Noise, and they went back and told, they was like, oh, what the fuck? How we gonna get these niggas to make a Christmas song? But then they started thinking about like the Run DMC, Christmas Time, Hollis Queen, these joints, and like that it had worked before. So they was like, all right, man, we'll see. So they went and pitched that to Outkast, and they came up with Players Ball because like apparently in Atlanta, according to street culture lore and being hustlers, every year on Christmas Day, the hustlers would get together and have like a Players Ball, like and that would happen.
That's a real thing.
You remember Dave Chappelle's Players Ball?
The Player Haters Ball, yeah. So like apparently it was like a real thing, like because them niggas would really have to grind all the time. So it was like, yo, this.
He said, I love to stay and talk, but I gotta go put dog food in Buck Nasty Mama's dish.
Right? No. But yeah, so like the players, like that was what they were talking about. So they was like, all right, we just gonna rap about what we did on Christmas because we ain't got no Christmas song. But like that song started catching on and started moving up the charts, and then LaFace was hit Organized Noise and was like, yo, we need an Outkast album.
1994.
Boom.
They dropped the album. Fast forward to 1995. The fucking Source Awards is being hosted in New York. And for y'all who don't know how big the fucking Source was and the Source Awards, like back in the day, shit, even, I mean, that was in 94 or 95. When I was growing up and really into hip hop in the early 2000s, I used to go and buy the Source. Yeah. I used to go and buy the Source magazine because, there wasn't the fucking internet or fucking Twitter to keep up with what was going on. So the Source or Double XL or those hip hop magazines,
you could find out about cats in other places, cats on the come up, all of that shit.
And so, and remember how big it was to have like 5 mics in the Source?
Yeah.
Like they would rate artists.
Yeah. The 5 mics like meant something. Yeah. At that time.
So they have this huge fucking award show in New York City, and it's 1995. So it's the height of the East Coast West Coast beef, and that's the iconic show where you got Suge Knight coming up on stage talking about if you want to be with a label and the producer isn't all up in your videos dancing, come to Death Row. Right. And then that's the same one where Snoop is like, y'all ain't got no love for us?
Yeah. The East Coast ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Let it be known then. And everybody boos.
Yeah. and then Biggie goes up there and like everyone's cheering because it's in New York and shit. So Brooklyn. So there's all this fucking tension in the room. They think fights are gonna start fucking breaking out. And then the fucking award for best new group comes out, best new group of the year, and fucking Outkast wins that shit, and motherfuckers start booing because they're in New York. They don't want these fucking Atlanta dudes coming up and winning the award, and fucking Andre 3000 comes on stage.
Well, Big Boy at first he's trying to like give props to New York. He's like, hey yo, this y'all city, and then he looks at Andre and he's like, so what's up?
Yeah, and then Andre comes up. And he was just like, all I gotta say is the South got something to say. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. He was tired of everybody, closed-minded, talking all that. But he's like, yo, but the South got something to say. And they did, boy.
And I saw interviews that artists did, like, not recently, but way after the fact, talking about that moment. And Ludacris was talking about it. And he was like, pressure could either bust pipes or make diamonds. And what Andre 3000 said on that stage made a fucking diamond. And I was like, yo, like I got chicken skin rewatching that fucking thing. And then Killer Mike, he was like that was the moment that cut the umbilical cord from Atlanta to New York. Like we don't have to impress them. We don't have to be influenced by them. We can just do our own shit and we gonna show you. So that was the moment where like, and it's kind of interesting because I brought it up to IA last week, like. When I was telling him, like, when I was rapping here, I felt like the mentality was, oh, well, I have to go to the West Coast to get big, or I have to go to the mainland to be big. If you was rapping from the South or from any other region other than New York or Cali, because that's where hip hop was at the time, you had to rap like them or go over there and be like them to be respected. So for Andre 3000, for Outkast to make an album that was Atlanta, film their music videos in their hometowns in the fucking slums, and to rep that shit so hard, and then to win that award was like the moment where it's like, all right, Atlanta cats could come up here and not have to be like other people. They could come up here and do their thing, and it's gonna be accepted.
And it was crazy. There was an interview I was watching with like one of the execs at LaFace, or like kind of like an A&R type position, or somebody who, you know, who's trying to push the music to people in other cities. So they would go to New York and be like, yo, what do you think of like Outkast and stuff like that? And they'd be like, I mean, they good, but them niggas country. We don't give a fuck about that up here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just because, and at that time, because of the way the media was set up and stuff like that, like not having different outlets and not having, you know, social media and the internet the way that it is, like back then you had like all the media was set up, like the Source, their offices are in New York.
Yep.
Double XL, New York. Like everybody was set up in New York. So like if people are all like, them niggas country, we don't give a fuck about that, then like they weren't getting that same love going through those through the junkets, through the press junkets and stuff like that. So like you had to really like just be like, oh, okay, cool, like fucking with that vibe and stuff. So that's why like
or you had to, or you had to have a New York cosign. Like you had to have a New York dude like cosign, like yeah, he's from this other place, but he could spit.
Yeah, but like, or like, so if they didn't have that, like if you were a fan and you only paid attention to like you had to just be like a digger, or just like be on your own shit to like really be fucking with folks, to be like, oh, okay, cool, and like, yo, these cats, like before a few years later, like once the early 2000s hit, where there was enough of them just really breaking through to where it was like, all right, cool, like it's here now. And then it got to a point where it was just like, nigga, being from Atlanta meant you was gonna get on the radio.
Well, I think here's a good transition. This is something kind of, it's a good transition into the 2000s if y'all want to go there.
Yeah, let's do it.
But
well, I mean, is there anybody else you want to bring up?
That's pretty much it.
Before the 2000s?
For the 80s and 90s. Okay. But I want to make sure we start the 2000s right.
Well, I got one. Okay, so in doing my research, I learned, so 2000s, when I think of 2000s Atlanta, at least for me, when I really like started listening, like, or like what really had me in that time was crunk music, right? So when I wanted to start looking into the 2000s, I started looking up crunk music. And what I was surprised to find out is that in 1992, because crunk was around way before it blew up in 2000s, right? In 1990, and crunk was kind of like, it was an Atlanta thing, but Memphis was doing it too, you know? So in 1992, 3-6 Mafia dropped Tear the Club Up. And that, but it didn't get onto their album, their official album, until 1995. So I thought that was super interesting, because I didn't know crunk was around that long. So when I think crunk, I think of the 2000s, Little John and all that shit, right? But 3-6 Mafia had like the first real like commercial crunk song on their 95 album.
There's been a little bit of beef between the two cities because of stuff like that. Like the Migos talking about how everybody steals their style. Memphis claims to have created the triplet style because of 3-6 Mafia and other just Lord Infamous, other which we'll do a Memphis episode one of these days too. But because I really like Memphis hip hop, and their story is really interesting, and I feel like they're super influential in just all of hip hop. A lot of people take stuff from Memphis, but they don't get the credit that they
and we can talk about Hustle and Flow.
Yeah.
Oh.
That tree.
It's hard out here for him.
but yeah, so there's some because, and also like the whole crunk thing, like, yo, we made that's ours, y'all took it from us, but you know, and then it being associated with Atlanta a lot of the time. But yeah, no, you said there, who are you talking about at the beginning of the 2000s?
So the people I like when I was digging, I got into BMF, which is Black Mafia family, and like, you know, I fuck with like any non-legal enterprise shit.
Yes.
Like Blue Da Vinci. That shit just fascinates me. Like we've watched all kinds of random movies and documentaries.
Yeah.
And that's how we got up on like
Pulp Fiction.
and shit too. But so when I started getting into this with like Big Meech, so this organization was running drugs from Mexico and then distributing, and one of the places they distributed was Atlanta. And so Big Meech was one of the founding members that named the crew in 2000. He was actually handling the Atlanta distribution, and he brought somebody with him from Cali.
Yeah.
Which was who you mentioned, Blue Da Vinci.
Yes, sir.
And like this dude is credited with being like one of the big influencers of the trap music sound and just that concept, right? And just the overall sound from Atlanta after that. And I think
when you say trap music in Atlanta, I think T.I.
Yeah, well, so all that shit. So we're like, as we start talking about the 2000s, these guys came out to Atlanta and from 2000 to 2005 ran their record label with Blue Da Vinci as a front for the drug operation.
Yep.
And this dude was just rapping about trapping. And in 2005, they got shut down. They arrested everybody. And on 2005, that very same year, you got Gucci Mane with Trap House. You got Young Jeezy. Let's Get It, Thug Motivation 101.
Hey.
And then through the next few years, we just see all these other artists coming up doing similar content. You know what I mean? So it was just super interesting seeing like the real life shit happening, and they're just like, we just gonna blow this shit up and we're gonna cover it up with the rap shit, and then everyone else being like, yo, we here doing this shit too, let's just rap it.
Yeah.
And it's just wild.
Was it I'm pretty sure it was Jeezy. Wasn't Jeezy the one with the snowman logo? Walking around with snowman on their shirt.
That shit started getting banned in high schools once they figured out what it meant. Like you couldn't wear the t-shirts, and then I remember that like report being on the news, and that just started making Jeezy even bigger with like the young cats. It was like, oh, you can't wear the shirt, and it's like if you didn't know who Jeezy was, like, oh, who is Jeezy? And
was it Boys in the Hood?
Yeah,
that was the group he was with.
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood with Jody Breeze and all them niggas. Yeah. Them boys got work. Them boys got
So you kind of skipped ahead to 2005, but in 2003, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
Okay, yeah, because you can't skip over that.
Yeah.
All right, so
crunk music, bro. I used to be on the bus.
Hold up, even before
goodness.
real quick.
I just want to talk about the things I'm excited about.
My bad. But real quick, right before Lil Jon, like one of the guys who was kind of holding the flag for Atlanta, like right in like the early 2000s, even 1999. Actually, Ludacris, man. Fantasy dropped in 1999.
Ooh.
And
bro, I was 9 years old rapping that song. I had
like,
no clue what the fuck I was
saying. Was that 1999? Damn.
Yeah. So like,
I thought that was later. Yo, Luda was the first motherfucker I listened to.
Yeah. And then he blew up and
like
was
middle
like
school.
And he blew up and he was all over the radio, and like he was all over the radio before Atlanta was all over the radio.
Yeah. He had DTP, his label.
Yeah.
And he put on a bunch of people on that.
So like, you know what I mean? Like so like Fantasy in particular, like that first joint, like he's going off and like he's making sure, you know, about he's from Atlanta. He talking about doing shit when the you know, when the Dirty Birds kick for 3, like he gonna fuck you in the middle of the Georgia Dome and all this shit. And I was like, oh, okay, word. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was no question about where he was from. And I felt like,
and that was back, he had the afro,
the
fucking gold teeth and shit.
Like, you know what I mean? So he was making sure that he was flying that flag, and that was before like it was popular to be from Atlanta. In that regard. But yeah, so
And then 2003,
yeah, 2003. Lil Jon.
Kings of Crunk.
Yes.
Bruh, I used to be on the city bus from Pearl City going to Kapolei in the morning, like 6 in the morning, and just listening to the most outlandish shit, ready to fight motherfuckers when I got off that bus.
Damn.
Fucking Lil Scrappy.
Yeah.
Just everyone of that era. Trillville. Bruh.
Okay, so
Get on my level.
nigga, my senior year, our class song was is it called Get on My Level or is it called Never Ever?
I think it's called Never Ever.
Yeah, that was our class song, Never Ever.
Yeah.
Bitch, nigga, you could never ever get on my level, ever. Well, get on my level, ho. Why get on my level, ho?
Wow.
I don't know why that was our song.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wait,
how
hold
we
on.
did
What was
that.
yours?
I don't know, nigga. I didn't go to school. I mean, like, I was there, but...
But I was really
We
excited
had
about
Lean
that.
on Me with the Lean With It, Rock With It remix.
Oh, I remember that.
okay,
I remember
yeah,
that.
that's
yeah.
fine.
Nah, we
That's
had...
better.
Oh, now you.
Nah, I don't even remember what the song was. It was some corny chick singing some shit, I think.
And then at graduation, we sang "World's Greatest" from R. Kelly, which I guess we can't do that now.
Yeah. Was he already pissing on people back then?
I mean,
for
actually,
sure.
yeah, he totally was, but
Isn't
we
he
were
from
still
Atlanta?
denying
Where's he
it.
from? No, he's from Chicago. ain't he?
Yeah, Chicago. I'm that mountain way up high. Can we sing that?
No.
No, fuck it. Fuck that song.
Yeah.
So
Crime Mob.
Yes.
Bro, Crime Mob. Fuck
Nah,
it.
Yeah. Bruh. Nah, whenever that shit comes on, like we all end up rapping Homegirls verse.
Oh,
we knucking
and we
and bucking and ready to fight. And I don't and I have to do my voice like that. You
One
have
chick,
to.
I'm up in the club shaking my dress.
Yeah. Bruh. And them niggas was like all in high school when they made that shit.
Really?
So yeah,
Damn.
I found that out later. Like, so I was like, damn, no wonder y'all niggas just wanted to fight. Cause like high school,
No, if you buck,
niggas,
boy.
high school is like the only place in the world where like you can get your ass beat at 7:30 a.m. Like thoroughly beat.
yeah,
Like, what are you doing? Why are you so bad?
The Yin Yang Twins.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say.
I don't know.
And so this and they tied back into Collie Parks.
Wait till you see
DJ Smith.
Yeah,
Because he was working with Yin Yang Twins, Soulja Boy, Hurricane
Yo!
Chris, Hey Baby.
Hold on. Where do you see my...
Why do you see him? Beat the pussy up. Beat the pussy up. Beat the pussy up. Like me.
Okay, yeah, Hurricane Chris. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Yeah, that was it.
You wanna know what we say in the club?
Hey, baby.
Nah, man. That Hurricane Chris, when that shit first came out, that used to have me fucked up like at the very beginning of the song because the first thing he said, now when I say, hey baby, I'm finna get my groove on. It's so hot up in the club that I ain't got no shoes on. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Put your shoes back on, Hurricane Chris.
That's how you get holes in your socks.
That shit is crazy. Cause like I was thinking about the floor in the club, the floor be sticky.
Oh, yeah,
like what the
that's
fuck
nasty.
going
You're right.
on, nigga?
You're right.
And like if it's hot in the club and your shoes off, how many other motherfuckers' shoes is off? That club must smell crazy. Go there and smell straight like corn chips.
And if they be dancing like... and if they be dancing like you be dancing, they got some sweaty ass feet.
yeah, nigga. And then if it's that hot, like and your feet smell crazy, like niggas is just sweating, like it's probably smell like a locker room.
It's like a Jamaican club.
I don't know why we're at this club.
I paid to get in here.
Damn.
I paid money to come here.
They're giving me the drinks in plastic cups.
Oh man, who else we got? I mean, at this point, I'm
Childish
just gonna.
Gambino.
Nigga. Alright, man. So the first time we brought up that we was gonna talk about Atlanta hip hop, I was like, yo, man, so like who are the people that you think of with Atlanta hip hop? And the first motherfucker he said was Childish Gambino. I had to look up to see where the motherfucker was from because he was so far down on my list.
He was like, well, he made ATL.
I was like, nigga, what?
So he's technically not from Atlanta, but he's from Georgia. He's from Stone Mountain, Georgia. which is a city right outside of Atlanta. So kind of, sort of. The only reason it came to mind when y'all asked was because I was still watching Atlanta.
This nigga.
So I made a list of just random niggas that are from Atlanta.
Okay.
And then I have an interesting fact. Actually, I have a question for y'all.
Okay.
And it's gonna turn into an interesting fact. 21 Savage.
21.
2 Chainz.
True.
Outkast. Jeezy. Crime Mob.
Yeah.
Them Franchise Boys.
Damn.
Field Mob.
Yeah.
Future. Gucci. Gunna.
Wanna.
JD. Of course, Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah.
Lil Baby.
Yes.
Lil Nas
Gotta say
X.
my dog.
Crisscross.
Yeah. Make him jump.
Killer Mike. Lil Jon. Lil Scrappy. Ludacris. Migos. Soulja Boy. Waka Flocka Flame.
Yeah.
Oh.
Travis Porter. Yin Yang Twins. T.I. Crime Mob.
Travis Porter is multiple niggas. That shit threw me for a loop. When
And I wrote Yin Yang
their
Twins
first
again,
video.
so apparently I wrote that shit twice.
Yeah, nigga.
JID.
Jid.
Yeah. Earth Gang.
Yeah.
How many record labels do you think are in Atlanta?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like there's gotta be like a bunch of them.
Playboy
300.
Cardi.
No shit.
There's 300 record labels in Atlanta.
That's way more than I was thinking. That's fucking wild.
That is fucking wild, bro. I read when I was doing my research. I read that they said that Atlanta is the
That's the spot now,
Yeah.
man.
Well, what was the word they used? They said it was hip hop's
Mecca?
the hip hop capital.
Capital. Yeah.
And I think they're fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely. I would say that now.
Speaking of like titles and the title of hip hop, like I also wanted to mention, we talked about producers and the labels and the rappers, the DJs, some of like the stomping grounds, early time shit that like brought the culture together. I just want to throw it out there. Street art, it has a big place there as well, which makes sense, kind of go hand in hand. I'm not gonna front, I don't know the artists out there, and it's hard to do research on them because a lot of these guys do most of their work illegally.
Yeah.
There's a few that were notable, but I don't want to like misrepresent anything, so I'm not even going to mention them because they might just be street artists and not even graph artists. So what I wanted to do was just mention some of the things that's going on there. They hold the street art conference, which is a big thing.
Oh.
The living walls, which must be legal walls that get updated every so often. The city speaks. And then, that's it. City Speaks, and they originated that in 2009.
Oh, nice.
So rich enough that like we got powwow,
Yeah.
and powwow goes all over the place. And then we had like Palama Settlement had the legal walls for a minute.
Yeah.
So like enough for us to have like a small time one, and then like a bigger event. But for these guys, they got 3, and it's ongoing, and it's native to their city. So, it tells you something about like what's going on.
Yeah.
there.
You know something that I just realized as we were talking about like the 1995 thing and like the separation at that point is that one of the songs that represents Atlanta fucking crazy is "Welcome to Atlanta," right? With JD and Ludacris.
Right.
And Ludacris did his fucking thing on that shit, right? But the remix, oddly enough, has a whole bunch of, they repping different
Other
cities and
cities, yeah.
shit. And Snoop is on the remix. And I just think it's funny because we were just talking about Snoop in 95, talking
and
shit.
having Diddy on the remix.
And having Diddy on the remix, yeah. So it just hit me now, like, oh, that's super interesting. And they had Murphy Lee.
Yeah.
Murphy Lee was on that. Wasn't there one more? No, that was it. It was yeah. But
Better
yeah,
not come across that bridge without permission from the same lunatics.
What is it? People say St. Louis ain't hip hop. Dirty we hop to what's hip. I'm a lunatic with too much grip to let it slip.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm
You was
so
going off
St.
on
Louis.
that.
Ask my tattooist. I was like the water boy. Now they're saying you can do it. Even Diddy's shit went hard on that one too.
Yeah.
And then Snoop Dogg with his super palm trees, bad bitches and wannabes.
See, that shit pissed me off because like when it would come on the regular radio, like they would be missing so much of his verse. And,
Yeah,
like, he would
beeped out.
come on there and it would be like palm trees, wannabes. When I yeah.
Yeah.
West Coast SNOOP.
You don't gotta do the whole verse, man.
But nigga, that's how it was. I just be like, damn, nigga. Because, like, Snoop's one of my favorite rappers of all time, so I'll really be waiting to hear Snoop. And, like,
They laying you down.
yeah, nigga, had to get that
That's why
shit
they
off.
dying.
Had to get that shit off LimeWire.
You got you.
Yeah, fucking
Bro, Soulja Boy.
might not even been out yet.
Let's talk. Let's go back and talk about Soulja Boy for a little bit. The fucking crank that Soulja
Hell
Boy.
yeah. Dominating LimeWire.
That shit was fucking ridiculous. And then all the spin-offs, crank that Spider-Man, crank that SpongeBob,
Crank that yank.
crank that yank. Watch me crank that yank. They
Crank
had, like,
that
the
Wu-Tang.
Is that a thing?
That was one, actually.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I think that was like
East.
from somebody like in Baltimore or some shit, so it was a little bit different than the other ones. Yeah.
But yeah, Soulja Boy,
Nah,
that
man.
motherfucker owned that time period, man. He was like 16 too at the time, right?
Yeah, and so bringing up Collie Park, like Mr. Collie Park, he was like I said, going all the way back to Mr. Edward J. Back then when he was DJ Smurf, he was on the J team. So like keeping that same mold when he became Mr. Collie Park and starting his record label and putting on somebody like Soulja Boy is just seeing like that lineage from the beginning of the genesis of growing their own hip hop scene, and somebody who benefited from that continuing on and like paying it forward and birthing Soulja Boy. And now Soulja Boy is a big star, and then eventually he started SOD Money Gang and started trying to put other people on too.
So one thing that I saw, and I because we were gonna do this episode fucking 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and we just didn't have enough research in at the time
Yeah.
to really get into it. But I was trying to relook up that article that I found back then, and I couldn't find it. And they were talking about one of the things that's unique about Atlanta hip hop is how the artists help each other out
Yeah.
more than any other scene.
Oh shit.
Where, like, you know, in New York, if you were two big artists in New York, you were kind of beefing, you
Yeah.
know, like for that #1 spot.
Huh.
And I wish I was able to refine that article, because they were talking about how Gucci Man put this person on and put that person and helped this person.
Yep.
And like how like
Yeah.
just it
Even
like
people who
Atlanta
weren't
just
from
has
Atlanta,
yeah
like
Atlanta
Nicki Minaj.
yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So Atlanta has a reputation of helping their own.
Yeah.
Gucci Man put on Waka Flocka. You know what I mean? So like and even if you look at current artists, like one of the reasons why Young Thug and Gunna and Lil Baby are all so close and they'll do shit together. Lil Baby was really a street nigga, really hustling and shit. And Young Thug, once he was on, he would give him and Gunna, because they was both really hustling and getting money in the streets, right? He would give them stacks of money and be like, yo, stay out the street. Just get in the studio.
That kind of reminds me of some like Diddy Biggie shit too.
Yeah.
When Diddy told Biggie, you know, like, you gotta stop doing that street shit and take this music seriously.
Yeah. And so even though Young Thug allegedly still has, you know, very active street ties, but you know, that's allegedly. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't be snitching over here.
Yeah, we're all the way out here. What do we know?
Exactly. But like, you know what I'm saying? he was looking out for them niggas, and that's really some Atlanta shit. And you see that's something going all the way back to King Edward J.
Yeah.
Like once we did our research, like if you are there and you from Atlanta, like they trying to put on for Atlanta. So like that's and even with like Coach K, like if we're talking about current people, we got to talk about Coach K, them who are behind like the Migos, like everybody, like, you know what I mean? Quality Control, QC Records. So Coach K, like they made their money. And like there's old pictures that you can find, I think like from 2011, like on Quavo's Instagram, a Lil Baby before like he had any money. You could tell that he looks regular, with like a regular wife beater and a hat, and he's like in the car like on his phone, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, it's gonna be his turn.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? And that's both. You know what I mean? And like these cats was street cats, and like the big labels probably wouldn't have been fucking with these niggas because that's too much trouble right now.
That's a liability.
But like these niggas was like, nah, man, come on, get out of this shit. You got real talent. Like Lil Baby was really a street nigga, didn't even think about rapping, and they was like, nah, man, try that shit. And now you listen to Lil Baby, he one of the best motherfuckers out right now.
Yeah,
like
that's so.
Atlanta, man, some shit.
I'm gonna be listening to fucking chicken and beer in my car for like the next 2 or 3 days.
Nah, I feel you.
Yo, before we wrap this up, I kind of want to throw this out there too. So we didn't talk a lot about him, but we mentioned him a couple of times. It's Killer Mike.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? And I got on to Killer Mike back, I think it was my senior year or right after I graduated, but it was only because of that documentary, Art of 16 Bars. Was it D3 Productions? They did a whole bunch of them. But
I remember watching that at your crib multiple times.
Yeah, I watched hella that and like Style Wars, all that shit. But this shit with the segment on Killer Mike, where he was talking about his name and how when he got signed, they wanted to change his name to Killer Mike because they thought it would be cooler, right? The slang of it. And he was like, nah, my name's Killer Mike. And the whole thing was that he got that name in the battle circuit. And he had like a tournament that he had won where he had to battle like 16 dudes and just murking everybody. And the DJ or the host or whatever was on the mic. And he was like, yo, this man's a killer. That's Killer Mike right there. And to him, it was like a badge of honor. And it was one of the things that inspired me into emceeing and rapping. So like, that dude was one of the guys from very early on that I admired. So it's like crazy too. And then when Run the Jewels comes out,
Run the
just
Jewels.
like, oh my God.
Yeah. Nah, so just with that time period of Atlanta, I just wanted to mention something about this before we wrap it up. The time like we were in high school, I ended up graduating before you, of course, but like just in high school.
What happened? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with you?
I don't know, man. He was just like younger and shit on some bullshit. Right? Like a bitch. But yeah, during that time period, like I guess for me is kind of when the South and like Atlanta really started spearheading that takeover. So like it started like I would say like kind of that crunk shit kind of like really started that wave, but then like hearing people outside of that clique, like how earlier I was like, yo, throw on that Bone Crusher. And like I was saying, when I heard Bone Crusher, that Bone Crusher song, because it had that crunk vibe, and he was doing his thing. But then there were 2 other verses on that song, and one of them you were mentioning was Killer Mike, and Killer Mike rapped, and I was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like when he was talking about, he was comparing his gun to a girl, and then was just like the way he just kept describing the characteristics and shit, and then like saying like I'll never forget this line, she indiscriminate with punishment, doesn't matter your religion, you Muslim, Hebrew, or Christian. Like like I was just like, what the fuck? Like I was like, oh my God. And like at this time, like I'm taking rap seriously and being a rapper myself, so I was just like, yo, what the fuck when he said that shit. And then he had another verse. Oh man, I can't think of the Outkast song, but he had the line about talking about running these tracks like running these tracks like Randy Moss. The whole world. Yeah, the whole world. The whole world. Like, and he got a Grammy for that shit. Like they got a Grammy for that, and so I was like, yo, Killer Mike. His album dropped. He had that one single, All Day I Dream About. All Day I dream about sex. Like, so just like he was coming out, I was just like, yo, this motherfucker, like, he's just blowing my mind with shit that he could like say. And he was like one of the first like Atlanta cats, like outside of Outkast, who was just like at that time, and Ludacris, who was just really like blowing my mind lyrically with like wordplay and just like rapper shit. So I was just like, oh, okay, word.
Ludacris is one of my all-time favorite rappers.
Yeah,
like he's up there on my list.
But also on that Bone Crusher song, the verse after Killer Mike, and this was the first time I heard this motherfucker.
Yeah.
T.I.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
Tell him what he said.
Yo, man.
Tell him what he said. Listen up. He about to tell you what he said.
He said, I ain't bad, just don't kiss no ass or take no shit. As soon as he said, I was like, what? Like, you know what I mean? And then man, when he said, I had your partner down, I see you been impatient, like, hope for the best, but I don't think he gonna make it. Not the way he was shivering and shaking on the pavement. Like, I was like, whoa. Like, and even in the video, like, he's rapping and stuff, it's just like, hope for the best, but I don't think he gonna make these crazy faces and turning his head, and he had his hat like cocked on the side.
That was always his thing. Like,
nobody wore their hat like that at the time, and just the way he was turning his head, I was like, how's his hat staying on? Like, what the fuck is going on? He just seemed crazy. Like,
yo, you remember when T.I. was beefing with Lil Flip?
Yes,
bruh,
dog. Beat that motherfucking ass at NBA All-Star Weekend. They said he drug his ass through the parking lot. Beat his ass, nigga.
Yo.
T.I., that's one motherfucker. He'll pull up and beat a motherfucking ass.
Yo, I was gonna say T.I. when he was really like blowing up.
Yeah.
And he did that song, You Can Have Whatever You Like.
Yeah.
So like I had a bunch of his shit on my playlist. Like him and like Luda during that time. Like that was kind of the revolving door.
They was even beefing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I fucked with both of them. So I was like,
Stay up the T.I.P. of my dick. But
all right, we won't continue talking about that, but go ahead.
Yo, off of T.I. just being in my playlist, I had like girls talking to me. This shit was crazy.
Nah, because he was really that nigga.
Crazy.
Because like he rap shit like for niggas that made you want to like fuck niggas up and shit like that. But then he had a song for the bitches, and it's like, all right, cool. Like, so yeah, after that Bone Crusher joint, the first like solo T.I. joint that I heard was 24. So,
money, hoe, cars and clothes. That's how all my niggas roll.
Like, bro, that joint, like that shit used to get me hype as
I think
fuck.
I think it was Midnight Club. I had some racing game, and that song was on the soundtrack. Yo, that song was on the soundtrack, bruh.
Yeah.
No, but what I was saying was, I'm pretty sure I heard a story that when Young Buck asked T.I. and Luda to be on Stomp, that T.I. recorded his verse first.
Yeah.
And then Luda, they were already beefing. Luda heard it and made his verse dissing T.I. And T.I. never had a chance to like adjust his verse. Yeah. That shit is cold as fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Plus your flow ain't legit, so please stay off the T.I.P. of my dick.
I remember the first time I heard this, I was like, oh my God. Oh man, but yeah, he beat Lil Flip's ass over that King of the South shit.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I'm King of the South. I was like, I guess so, nigga. Yo, so that nigga fought that nigga T.I. went up and up with Floyd Mayweather at a Whataburger. Like, nigga, if you gonna fight an undefeated professional boxer
at like, a Whataburger,
yeah, nigga, like, hey, bro, you got it, man. Like, I don't never want to see T.I.
Was that one of the settings or one of the arenas in Def Jam
Vendetta?
Nah,
it should be though.
Yeah,
let's remake that shit.
Yeah, man, they need to bring it back.
Yo, you remember Celebrity Deathmatch? Who the fuck would
they have on there though? Like, if they like, oh, now, like, yeah,
remember that like DMX on there. They had DMX on there.
Oh yeah,
back in the original.
Like,
I remember one of his.
Like, what rappers now you gonna put on there like that I expect to fight? Like, any of the rappers now who I think is like, oh nah, this nigga kind of scary. It's mostly because I think they might shoot me, not because I think they beat me up.
Guns in it too.
I don't know.
Oh, this is Call of Duty.
Call of Duty with rappers?
Yeah.
Huh. I might play that NBA YoungBoy.
Yo, the internet's wild enough that some random fucking like game creator can probably pick this up and do something with it. And it could be like, it doesn't have to be a full on console or computer game. It could be a mobile game.
Yeah, nah, 504 them drill niggas. So when you shoot, it's like, bow. Yo, I would play that game.
Hell yeah. Yo, you remember not Death Jam,
Celebrity Deathmatch?
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
that shit was wild. They were Clay. Yeah, that like Pamela Anderson versus fucking somebody.
You know what I mean? Jennifer Love Hewitt. Just throw some shit out there. Probably somebody dies by boobs ripping off.
Yeah. I watched it.
Rip her implants out, beat them with
later, and still felt like I was getting away with something because growing up, it was weird. I could watch like any kind of fucking like R-rated movies growing up from when I was real little, but like when it came to TV shit, for some reason my parents didn't want me watching certain shit. So like I'd have to sneak and watch like South Park, Simpsons. I couldn't watch.
Damn. Yeah. And they yellow like you.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Damn.
And with that, folks, all right, we got anything else we want to say?
Happy AAPI month, right? It's Asian American and Pacific Islander month.
Oh shit!
It is.
Yeah.
Yo, where's my sushi?
Oh fuck, bro! Remember he hooked us up all Black History Month.
This is true.
God damn it! We should have went to Genki before we came here.
Damn. Some sake maybe. Damn.
Yeah.
I'll bring poke.
Shit, we got Sapporo.
I'll bring poke next time.
I'll take it. I bought that.
Well, nigga.
I bought your shit too.
Thank you.
All this? Goddamn.
No, we didn't ask for any of it.
You right.
Oh shit.
But we're thankful.
One last interesting Atlanta fact. Sorry.
Oh fuck.
Future
I guess
was
we got a few.
Future was in Dungeon Family back in the day. Right? So just it's interesting seeing just how just running themes in Atlanta's hip hop scene and history. Like Future is still very relevant. Just dropped the album that's going crazy and shit like that. So just seeing that Dungeon Family still has influence in today's scene.
You got anything?
I was just gonna say we should ask what the people want to see us cover next. Like if we
what cities, what regions do you want to hear about? We have our own ideas of places that we're interested in, but yeah, if you guys have anything, let us know.
Drop it down in the comments.
Yeah.
All right. So I was supposed to tell this story earlier.
Oh shit!
And Christian's gonna be very upset if I don't, because he's been asking me to do this.
Okay,
you force him to watch the whole episode.
No,
I'm
gonna fast forward to a minute or an hour and like 20 in, and all right. So Christian's playing Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man that came out when the PS4 came out. He just copped it from GameStop, used $12. Anyway, this motherfucker's been playing it, and he's been hooked. And one day I'm walking to the back door, and he's playing. Justice is sitting next to him, and I just hear Justice laughing, and Christian's like, "This city is riddled with crime." And I guess I looked, and like Justice saw like the what the fuck look on my face, and he was like, Christian is on his way to do like a mission, but like every time he tries to go to the mission, there's crime going on, so he has to stop going to the mission to like stop these people from robbing or stop these people from stealing the car. He was like, I can only go like 50 meters and then there's another crime.
and he's using the metric system.
Well, the game checks how far the mission is by meters. So, and I made the mistake one day of asking him about it. Like we were at the beach and I was like, "Hey Christian, so what's going on with the crime in that city?" And I got like a 20-minute story about Doc Ock and how he's doing this. And they're doing that. Like he just told me the whole synopsis of the game.
I mean, the city is riddled with crime.
It is riddled with crime.
I mean,
and I told him
be a long explanation.
I told him that I would give the people on the podcast an update of his game, and he's been asking me every day since if I've told them the update. So Christian,
there it is.
I told him the update. The city's riddled with crime, and you out here. He's trying to buy the DLC.
Yeah,
so there's going to be more updates coming.
Yeah, he's bringing the crime rate down.
Hell yeah. Take out the trash. Clean up these streets.
Yeah.
Also, we have a playlist. Listen to that.
Yeah, check it out. The Product. is what it's called. It's available on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube.
And let us know if we should do more. I mean, we could do a playlist just on
Atlanta shit that we were talking about.
Oh, that'd be dope.
All right.
I mean, we might just do that on the side, whether
That
y'all
might-
want it or not.
that
We
might-
might want it.
That might be the
I think
playlist
we
I
do.
drop next month. Just because.
That's a cop out. You ain't.
Yeah. No,
I
can't
got
steal
it.
it.
I got a dope playlist.
You got it.
brewing.
All right.
All right. Anything else we want to say to the people?
No.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey.
Tune in next time.
Do we still have an outro?
Yeah.
That's up to y'all. You want to have an outro?
Here's our outro.